Today's video, I'm going to be talking about poker, the card game, how similar it is to tennis when it comes to strategy, or maybe is it vice versa, how similar tennis is to poker. There's so many strategies and so many examples I can pull up from this video, and make sure you watch the ending where I summarize everything. After you've watched the whole video, everything will make total sense. I realized that a lot of the strategies are so similar to tennis or any sport. It could be football, it could be basketball, it could be basically any sport. There is more than one way to win in poker. There's so many different variations. And in tennis, it's the same thing. Okay, this is not gambling. I'm definitely not endorsing gambling. This is free money. I'm right at the bottom. Now, it's just like playing tennis. You need to have a very good idea of who you're playing against. So right now, I have no idea how these people are playing. Are they aggressive? Are they conservative? Do they have a lot of money? Are they going to be betting high? Like, I have no idea. So the first few turns, I'm just going to be watching just to kind of read what's going on. 6 and a 2, those are really bad cards, but again, I'm not going to let my opponent know. I'm still warming up. I'm still trying to gather some intel. All right, there's two aces on the deck, and nobody's raising. Let's see. If nobody raises, that most likely means that nobody's got an ace. So, and by how much they raise gives you a very good idea. So right now, I'm focusing 100% of my resources trying to study and trying to learn about my opponent. It's got nothing to do with me right now. And because I know myself very well, and as a tennis player, you should know your game very well. So the first 10-15 minutes, you should be focused on your opponents. What are your opponents doing? Everything's still very neutral. So again, I'm not trying to hit winners the first game. I'm just trying to keep the rally going as long as possible, just so I can learn. Okay, so this guy had an ace and he didn't raise that much. Whoa, what are the chances that happens? Okay, now that happened a little too early. This is equivalent of hitting an ace the first game. It means absolutely nothing. But I'm going to raise just to kind of get a feel what these people are going to do. I have a feeling the lady over here at the bottom left of me, right of me, is going to raise. Even though she's got 381,000 left. If she raises, I know she's going to go all in. Okay, so far everybody's biting. This is exciting. That happens very seldom. But let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. And it doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to win this hand, but my chances are very high. Now, it all depends how I play it. It all depends how I play it. What did I tell you? I knew that lady was going to go all in. So I'm going to call that because she had to go Hail Mary, because that's all she had. And she wasn't going to play around, kind of stay in, play conservative. She had no choice. I kind of guessed she was going to do that. All right, the guy in the cowboy hat, the black cowboy hat. Oh, he folded. Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah, well, I could have won a lot more on that hand. I could have won a lot more, but I'm okay with that. Now, just like in tennis, if you get a few games right at the beginning, you can play a little bit more aggressively. Now, so it's important to get a win right at the beginning so you can play a little bit more aggressively. So I just won a hand, so I can afford to play a little bit more aggressively right now because I just won more than 50%. So I'm going to see, there's a chance that it could be a flush, meaning all 5 cards or somebody else has got 2 spades. So, just like playing tennis, before you play any game, you have to understand all the rules. So you have to do your due diligence before you start playing to make sure that you understand all the rules. I'm going to pull in a bluff on this one, and I have a feeling they will fold. Because right now I'm kind of the guy with the big forehand, just pushing people around, just bullying people around. But let's see if that's going to work. Get somebody to commit to something. And now I'm going to go. Let's see what this person's going to do. I think he's going to just call that. He's not going to raise. So I have a feeling that guy's going to fold. Oh no, I didn't want him to raise. So he's got something. He's definitely got something. I'm going to fold. He's definitely got something, because it's either an ace or a queen or a flush, depending on how much he raises. Okay, there's no way to tell. So sometimes you actually can risk a point just to see what the other person has. So it's same thing in tennis. In the warm-up on the first few games, I'll give up a few points just to see if somebody can handle a short ball. So I'm gonna call this one. And because I've got a jack and an ace, so I got really good cards right now. And I want to see how everybody plays. Okay, the guy that raised with a white hat, he's got 2.6 million. So I think it's just bullying people. It's just pushing people around. Now, just like in tennis, it doesn't mean that if you get a big serve in, oh my gosh, this is a good day for me today. And he folded. Why? Why did he fold? All right. I am going to definitely go up, raise a little bit on that one. Let's see what she's gonna do. Okay, it's just me and this lady. If she, oh yeah, she's going. Ooh, no. I was looking really good. If she's got a king. Okay, I gotta try to scare off on this one. She might have a king, or she might have two hearts. Oh, she does have a king, and she wins with two cards on there, and I still didn't win the hand. So that's kind of what I was alluding to. Just because you have a big forehand or a big serve doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna win the point all the time. There's a little bit of strategy involved. There's a little bit of reading your opponent involved. I didn't do a good job reading my opponent that time, and she got me on that one. So now I have to play conservative to kind of get back up. So I am not hitting the ball close to the lines. I am just keeping the ball in the court right now. This is the same thing at the beginning of a match, throwing in a short ball to kind of have an idea how your opponent handles short balls. Are they comfortable running in? You know, you might lose the point, but you kind of need to know that earlier in the game than later. So in this one, I'm not betting that much money, so I can afford to do that for this one. Yeah, that lady absolutely has better cards. Either she's got 2 5s, or it could be straight, or she's got an ace. I'm guessing she's got 2 5s. There's no way she would raise that much. There's an ace there, which is a higher card, but in this case, I think she's got a 5. Oh, she did have an ace. Okay. Oh, there's somebody who had a 5. That's kind of all right. So that guy had a 5. So again, my point again, the person with a bigger forehand and serve just lost. Somebody else had a better strategy. It's not always the person. So when you're playing tennis, it's not always about my forehand isn't working, so I'm going to lose a point. It means absolutely nothing. If your forehand isn't working, the first thing is don't let your opponent know that. And 2, hitting the ball hard is not the only way to win a point in tennis. So there are so many other different ways to win. Just like playing poker, there's so many different variations and possibilities of winning a point. So right now, if somebody raises, they probably have a 7. Ooh, I like it. I like it. I could be back in the game. So I'm gonna try to scare away anybody who's got a 7. Yep. So anybody who does not have a 7 or an ace, they have to kind of cancel. Because in this one, I don't want anybody kind of getting their confidence up and hopefully taking that away from me. So Oh no. Decision making. Does he have a 7? I think not. I think not. Well, I got $44 anyway, so I might as well go all the way in. And I knew he was gonna do that. And he did have a 7. Alright, so that's kind of my point here. 7, because he had a 7 and an 8. I had a queen and an ace, and I still lost. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm trying to get at, that it's not so much about the cards you have. You can have really bad cards and still come out on top. You can play against somebody with inferior technique and still lose the match because they have better strategy. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good about this one. Queen and a 10, and they're the same suit. So that's my chances are pretty high on this one. So let's see if I can play really risky. Just like in tennis, you can decide to be conservative or aggressive right off the bat. And then how aggressive and conservative you are depends on the actual point. So in this case, I've already decided I'm going to be aggressive a little bit just to kind of prove a point within reason. Queen and 10 are really good cards. So I would definitely be a little bit more aggressive with that one in this particular case. Just like when you're playing tennis, there's certain times you have to be aggressive. So I'm kind of flying blindfolded here, and okay, so chances that he's gonna have another 7 are very slim, so I'm going super aggressive. Let's see what's gonna happen. All right, so I won that part. Now I want to win one hand where I have relatively bad cards. Like a 4 and a 5 are really low. So let's see if I can bully these guys. I'm gonna raise again. So this is equivalent of me going to the net on a really bad approach, but I'm looking super confident, and I'm going to force them to hit the ball out, hit it in the net, or they'll hit it right back at me, and I'll get like and hit a volley. But I'm being super aggressive, so I got 2 people to drop. That's equivalent of 2-3 people hitting the ball in the net. Okay, 1 person checked. So now it looks really good. At the beginning, going to the net was a really bad idea, but now I still got a good chance of winning. So I got a 2, 3, 4, 5. If I get a 6 or an ace, yes, and I get a 6. So that taking that chance really paid off. But the 2-3 diamonds there. So he might have 2 diamonds. I doubt it. He did not have 2 diamonds. Alright, so again, 4 and 5 had no business winning that hand. But I was super aggressive. I did not have the good card, and I was super aggressive, and I won the point. Okay, it's the same thing in tennis. Alright, 6 and 7. So that guy kind of knows that I have a bluff. So does everybody on the table if they're paying attention. So right now, I really gotta lay low and just stay neutral. In tennis, if you hit an ace, it makes your opponent super alert. Trying to hit another ace is a total waste of time. It's not a good play. So on this one, everybody's been aggressive. That made it super easy for me to fold. So I'm not going to play this hand. I'm going to fold. When you hit a passing shot down the line on somebody, the next point, the next 2-3 points, they're going to be super alert. So trying another down the line within 4-5 points is not a good idea. So after that play, I'm just going to hang back a little bit for the next 2-3 plays. And kind of, okay, 10 and ace, 10 and ace. So now just learn, just study your opponents. Study your opponents, study your opponents. Okay, so I can see why they raised, because they had a 10 and an ace. And okay, so that was valid. That was valid. Okay, let's see. but 9 and 3 ended up winning. Okay. Oh, 9 and 3. I was just talking about 9 and 3. So right now, my opponent is attacking me all the time. I'm not trying to attack back, if you notice. This person is attacking me, betting $1 million. I'm like, no, I got a 7 and a 2. I'm just gonna hang back behind the baseline and just block the ball back. I'm not trying to hit any winners. Whoa, doubled it, 2.4 million. Okay, I bet this person probably got like 2 10s or something. They got a jack or a 10, something not spectacular, but they are going to make that person just fold. But oh, I knew that they didn't have any cards. They did not have any cards. I would definitely have gone in for that, because I know the way that person is playing has been not so smart. I had a feeling they didn't have cards. Okay, so I kind of know what's going on now. I kind of see what's happening with my opponents. So I'm going to go in, and if that person raises, the one with 1.477 thousand, if they raise, I am tripling it. Whatever they have is not good cards. I know that for a fact. I might lose this hand, but I'm definitely not losing to this number 7 player. Okay, he folded. There's no way I was going to lose that hand. No way. No way. No way. All right, so now we got a queen 6. All right, so I'm going to carry on with my bluff here, because I'm feeling pretty good about this one. I've kind of laid back for a little bit, so everybody's kind of forgotten about my play, because I didn't know. Oh, no, don't do that. They're going aggressive before I did. So now when somebody starts attacking me, I don't have a choice but to defend, in this case, fold. If that person didn't raise, I was definitely going to go on the offense. But they raised, so I didn't have a choice. I had to fold. I had to fold. Ooh, now what's happening? 5, they did not have anything. Just a jack. And wow. Okay, interesting. 6 and 7. All right, so I still got to pull off another bluff. So I'm going to go for it right here. I've been playing very conservative lately, so I'm going to go for it on this one. 6 and 7. Wow. Okay, that guy never has any good cards. Now, the guy in the tuxedo might beat me, but I've got a chance of getting a straight or a flush, meaning all diamonds. So I'm going to go for this one. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I just need a 9 or a 4. And I'm thinking 9 is going to come right up again. Bam! That's what I'm talking about. That's what I wanted. You got to focus on what you want, not what you don't want. If you're thinking that ball is going to hit the net on a crucial serve, you are going to miss it. So think positive. Think about what you want to happen, not what you don't want to happen. So I won that hand. Very aggressive. You see, it might look like I was very reckless, but that was very well planned. I was not attacking everything. This is a perfect example, and I think I'm going to end it right here. And because I kind of threw in the same kind of strategy that I would on a tennis court. If somebody's attacking, hang back and just defend. And when everybody's playing passive, you have to attack, and you have to be aware of your odds. You're playing high percentage, and I've been playing high percentage. When I was aggressive, I was conservatively aggressive. I did my due diligence studying my opponents, kind of held back, and then I could see that this number 7 player over here on my left was being super aggressive. So I kind of knew he didn't have any good cards on him, you know, and it paid off. Okay, so that guy thinks he's got a 5. That can be right, because I have another 5. So he's probably just got a jack. Or maybe a 2. Yeah, probably he's got a 2. He's got a 2. Oh, nobody went for it. Okay, so I've won the match at this point. I don't need to keep hitting aces when the score is 5-1. There's no need for me to risk anything at this point. I can just cruise and still win the set and win the match. So I'm so far ahead, it doesn't really matter. If this guy's trying to attack, he has to, because he has to try to come back. I don't have to keep attacking with him. Just like on a tennis court, I would just hang back, wait for the next one. I've already won the match at this point, because I started off with 1 million and right now I've got 5 million. He's attacking again, so I'm just going to take a couple steps back behind the baseline and just block this one back. In this case, fold, because I don't need to risk anything. I'm up by so much. He's not even giving me a chance to take any risk. He is making all the errors without me doing anything. So, making my life very easy. Very easy. So, alright, so that's a good example. And we are done. Risk versus reward. So I do not have a good card here. So now, just because I have good cards or don't have good cards doesn't mean I completely fold. I still have a good chance of winning. And then this is a risk versus reward thing. Now I have a 7, and you know what? I am willing to take that risk because it wasn't that big, and that risk paid off. Because now I can bet $500 because I've got 10 and the 7, so I got a pair. So somebody could have a straight 3, 4, 5. So somebody, if he's putting a 900, I bet you he's got a 5. But just to prove my point, I'm going to, since this is free money, I'm going to go for it, and I promise you he's got a 5. And of course he did have a 5. So now I kind of know how he plays, you know. So I know how much he bets high. So this whole thing is for me to try to understand my opponents. So I didn't have a problem losing that hand because I learned a lot from how this person plays. So I'll be aware of that for the next couple of rounds when it really counts. So I'm just going to keep that going. And let's see. Okay, 3, 4. Let me see what happens if I kind of bluff. Okay, this person at the bottom chickened out. Alright, let me see if he's still gonna like that. I'm gonna go for a really big amount. Oh no, I wanted to go for $1 million. Because if you put a little bit, people know that you're bluffing. And he just had a 7, so that's why that didn't work. Okay, so if I'm gonna bluff, the similarity to tennis is if you're gonna go to the net on a bad approach, if you're not sure, if you do not look like you're sure about what you're doing, you get past. It doesn't put any pressure on your opponent. But if you charge the net like you have the best hand in poker, then it just forces your opponent to fold. In tennis, hit the ball out. In poker, fold, you know? Let's see if I can pull another one. It's gonna be hard because my last bluff didn't work. So he's got 22,000, I got 3, he's got 22 million, I got 3 million. So the odds are in his favor. So I have to play very conservative right now just to kind of stay in the game. So I'm going to fold that one and just go very conservative. So my strategy now has changed. I kind of know how that guy plays, and he has a lot more money than I do. In tennis, he has a big forehand and a big serve, and I don't have any of those. On paper, I will be losing that match. On paper, I could be losing this game. I wanted to demonstrate one of the biggest analogies to this whole thing, which is the bluff. Just like in tennis, you don't always wait for an easy ball to attack. Otherwise, you're playing reaction tennis, and you don't want to be waiting to see what your opponents do before you do anything. Sometimes you have to make the initiative. In fact, if you want to be successful in tennis and in poker, you want to be the one making the move and make everybody else react to you. So, in both poker and tennis, you gotta study your opponents. You gotta study how the other people on the court or the table are doing, just for a little bit. You don't want to do it too long, otherwise you get too comfortable, and then they put you in a corner, and then you start reacting to them. But when you pull a bluff, you don't want to do it too soon, because if your bluff does not work, then the whole thing's not going to work. So you have to be somewhat smart without taking too long to pull a bluff. So I'm going to take 2-3 hands and just study my opponents. In tennis, that'll be about 2-3 games as well. Okay, let's see. All right, I've got an ace. This is a good chance to kind of raise to see if there's anybody who is playing risky poker. So this is a good opportunity to throw in a bit of a jab. Okay, he's just raised, but I think I can raise just to kind of see what he has. I want to see how he reacts to that. He has more money than I do. Equivalence to tennis, he's got a bigger forehand than I do, but that doesn't mean anything. So we are going to see what he does. And he goes with me, so that's fine. Because there's nothing on the table yet. There's nothing on the table yet. So, okay, I have absolutely nothing, but I want to see. I'm going to take a big risk here. Okay, he's going with me, so we'll see. I still got a chance to win this because I have an ace, so I could get a high card. So I'm going to go again. And once you start bluffing, you have to fully commit to it. You cannot back up. If you get a short ball, there you go, he folds. Yes. And then now that my biggest competitors fold, I'm gonna go biggest bluff right now. Ooh, and he went with me. And he won with the 9. See, there was a queen and a 10. And he went with the 9, and I lost that one. But I fully committed, and I lost that other one guy. So once you pull a bluff and it didn't work in that case, well, it kind of did work, but not really. If it didn't work, then I'll kind of hold back, pull back for a little bit, and then try it again. So that guy with the eagle on my right, or it's a girl or whoever that is, let's see who it is. Royal Flush. That's probably a computer generated thing. All right, anyway. Let's see if we can wait for another opportunity. What I was saying is, if you're going to go for a bluff, if you have to make the decision to go to the net before the ball comes, based on how your opponent has been playing the last few games. If they're prone to hitting a short ball, so you kind of make the decision to go to the net before that actually happens. So it's like, okay, I'm going to hit this deep ball, push them back a little bit. When I get a short ball, I'm going to go up to the net. So you've already made your decision, and you've committed to that. So when that short ball comes, the whole strategy now, you got to fully commit to it. If that person hits a deeper ball, you've already committed to your decision. That's what I mean the equivalence to poker is. You got to stick with it. I committed to that bluff, so I could not back off. Because if I backed off, everybody else on the table would have seen what's going on, and I would have eventually lost those cards anyway. This way, I lost, but I still, they still know why I went all in, because I had an ace. So I didn't have absolutely nothing. So that's the thing with the bluffing. Okay, let's see this guy. I'm gonna do a little bit of I studied this guy a little bit. Royal Flush has got 326 million. I've got 6 million. So he's gonna be taking more risks. So I should have done a little bit due diligence and looked at his background and his stats. That's probably why he took that much of a chance, because he could afford to. Because he had a 9 and there was a 10 and a queen on the table, and he still went for it. So That on his part was not smart. He got lucky. So I would still definitely do that play again. He just got lucky that one time. It's like you do everything else correct in tennis and your opponent just gets lucky and shank the ball and it goes over your head. There's nothing you can do about that. It's just luck. Alright, so we got new people coming in. Okay, this guy's just pushing people around, just bullying people around. I know why now, because he's got 300 million. Everybody else is kind of playing with 5-10 million. That's why he feels he can just push people around. All right, I'm gonna go for my last bluff one more time, just to see if this guy really knows what he's doing or he's just going all in. The strategy is based, ooh, I have a very good chance here. I could go flash. All I need is another heart, and there are 2 more cards to come, so I think this is a perfect opportunity for a bluff. Perfect opportunity. I'm feeling good about this one. Again, this is play money. It's not real money at all, so you can be a little bit more aggressive. Just like in tennis, practice and the real match are completely different. Okay, I got a king. It's not exactly what I wanted, but it's still good enough for me to throw in another bluff. Okay, that guy folded and everybody folds. So that time the bluff worked because I had nothing, but I had a very good chance of winning that hand anyway. So that is the equivalence to tennis. You do not want to go to the net on an absolutely bad approach. Your approach has to be somewhat average, and then you stand a chance. So in poker, when I bluff, I had a very good chance of winning that hand. I hadn't won it yet, but I had a very good chance of winning. So this time I only got a 2. It's not a good time to bluff because all the other cards, the king, 8, and the 9, are higher than what I have. So the chance of somebody having one of those cards is extremely high. So it's not a good time to bluff. And when this guy attacks me, I just step back and block it back and defend. So I'm not going to go with that one. Sometimes when people attack you in poker and tennis, you just have to defend. In poker, you fold. In tennis, just step back and try to block it back. If they hit a win off that, good shot. There's nothing you can do about it. Okay, I think I've shown my point. Let's see if I can do one more thing here. I've got a king. So right now, I don't want to scare people off. So I want to kind of lure them in. So this is equivalent of having a big forehand, and I don't want to use it too early in the game so people would figure out what I can and cannot do. So I'd go 50% because I'll still be winning the point, and when it really counts at 5-4, 30 all, that's when I use my big forehand. And this guy thinks I don't have a big forehand, and I'm going to show him I have a big forehand, and I am going to flex my muscles this time and get that king and a 5. And he's going for it. He did not know I had a big forehand. Let's see what happens. Bam! He got smacked in the face. That's because I lured him. If I'd gone too big at the beginning, he would have folded. But I lured him in, and he had no choice at that point. He had to do that. He had to do that. It's the equivalent of bringing somebody to the net on a short ball. They have to run to the net. They cannot run backwards to the baseline. They don't have a chance. So that was a very good example. And on that note, everybody folded, and this guy's only got 4.8 million, so he's got less. So that means he probably had good cards. So that guy, I think he's going to be playing, what's his name? So. Okay, I think he's going to be playing conservatively because he doesn't have any money. So somebody like that, when they bet, I am folding because he can afford to do that. Especially on this one, I am definitely folding. He can't really be pushing people around, so he must have good cards. And if he raises, it's definitely got an ace. Yep, that guy's definitely got an ace. And that guy is, okay, let's see how much money this guy has. Okay, this guy's got 1.5 billion. This guy's just bullying people. Yep, and that guy won. I knew the way he was raising, he had the cards. That guy was just pushing people around because he got 1.5 billion. He was just pushing people around. Just like in tennis and poker, it is crucial that you understand what your opponents can and cannot do. You have to study your opponent, their personality. Are they very aggressive? Are they conservative? Do they have a lot of money, which is in tennis equivalent of having a weapon, as a forehand or a backhand? Because you know they're going to be bullish about it on the court. But that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win. Just like you saw in the multiple examples I just shown you, somebody with a big forehand or a big serve or a big weapon doesn't always win. It's the strategy. It's understanding what they can and cannot do. And then the second one was don't show your cards. I didn't really have any examples of that in this video but when you're playing tennis, do not let your opponents know what you can and cannot do. It's their job to figure it out. And don't make it easy on them. If you go on the sunny side, do not complain about the sun in your eyes. They might be aware of it, but then 2 minutes later when they're playing, they'll forget about it. So do not remind them. Do not say things like, oh my gosh, my backhand is not working today. Do not say things like that, or do not give them any kind of body language that you hate running forward, or you hate running backwards, or you hate backhands, or you hate volleys, or anything like that. Do not show your cards. Let them figure it out. And in the meantime, try to figure their cards out. What cards do they have? If you can tell what somebody has, it's easy. It's not even a game. It completely stops being a game if everybody can see who's got what cards. So big part in poker. Don't show your cards. In tennis, same thing. Do not show your weaknesses. Don't show your strength either. The third one was the bluff. The more confident you are, the better it works. If you get an easy ball, just like in tennis, even if you had no intention of attacking, but when you get an easy ball, you have to finish the point. You cannot rally an easy ball. Just like in poker, if you get really good cards, like 2 aces, you have to raise when you get really good cards. And number 4 was fold. Somebody's attacking you consistently, like you've seen in the demonstration, just step back and just block it and just defend. And that's the same thing in poker and tennis. If somebody's attacking you, just step back and block it. And then risk versus reward, that was somewhat self-explanatory, but great example in this game where if there are 10 people on the table and you bet $1,000, everybody bets $1,000. That means in the pot, you got $10,000. It's okay to bet $1,000 to win $10,000. So the risk is very low and the reward is very high. That's in poker. In tennis, it's kind of the same thing. If your opponent comes to the net and you've seen them hit 1 or 2 good volleys already, you have to take a risk, because you know if you just give them an easy ball at the net, they're definitely going to hit a winner. So that time you have to take a risk, but there's absolutely no need to do that if your opponent is 10 feet behind the baseline and you try to hit the ball as hard as you can 2 inches over the net. That does not make any sense. It's very high risk and very little reward. All right, thank you guys for watching, and I hope that kind of made any sense. Let me know if you got any questions in the comments, and I will be sure to respond to them. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.